Group tour or private tour? On paper, they often look almost identical. Same places, same photos, same promises. But in reality, they feel completely different. And Scotland amplifies that difference more than most countries. And if you're already thinking, why does this feel harder than it should? That's not accidental. Because most people don't realise what tour descriptions conveniently leave out. Most tour descriptions focus on where you go, not what the day actually feels like. They don't talk about pace, energy, comfort, or how much thinking, listening, and moving you'll be doing. So people book tours that look perfect on paper and then quietly think, why am I not enjoying this as much as I thought I would? That's not because the tour was bad. It's usually because the structure didn't suit them. And here's the thing, even if you've done tours before and enjoyed them, Scotland changes how this choice plays out in ways most people don't expect until it's too late. This issue exists everywhere, but Scotland turns the volume up. Here, distances are longer than they look. Roads outside cities are narrow and winding. Weather can change plans quickly, and many famous places are rural or time-sensitive. Whether you're doing a walking tour in Edinburgh, visiting castles around Stirling or the Lothians, exploring the Highlands, or heading to Skye or another island, the structure of your tour affects how much you actually enjoy the experience. This isn't luxury versus budget, it's flow versus friction. So before you decide what sounds right, you need to understand what each tour type is actually built to optimise for, starting with group tours. Group tours are built for efficiency. That usually means a coach or minibus, a fixed route, a set schedule, and multiple stops in a day. They work particularly well if you want an overview of a region, you're short on time, you don't want to plan anything, you're travelling solo, or you're on a tighter budget. This is why group tours are so popular for first-time visitors. They remove decision fatigue. They show you a lot. They make Scotland feel accessible. And if that sounds ideal so far, here's the bad part a lot of people only realise once they're already on the bus. To fit a lot into a day, something has to give. Usually, that's time at each stop, flexibility, and physical and mental energy. Group tours often involve long stretches of sitting, short, timed stops, waiting for others, and constant information delivery. Nothing is technically wrong, but the pace can feel relentless. This is where people think things like, I wish we'd had more time there. I didn't expect to feel this drained. I loved it, but I didn't really feel it. That's not disappointment, that's a mismatch. And this is exactly where people start wondering if private tours would have felt different. Not better, just different in ways that matter. Private tours don't shorten distances, they change how you move through them. Private tours usually involve smaller vehicles, fewer people, flexible routing, which means you can stop when you need, adjust pace midday, plan around weather, and avoid particularly rough or busy roads. This isn't about luxury, it's about control. But before you assume private tours are the obvious upgrade, there's a catch people don't talk about. Private tours aren't automatically perfect. They work best when you communicate what you want, you're honest about pace and comfort, you're clear about your interests. Because when it's just you and the guide, personality fit matters more. If expectations aren't aligned, a private tour can feel awkward or slower than you'd like. That's the trade-off. And beyond pace and comfort, there's another difference that quietly decides whether a day runs smoothly or turns stressful fast. Logistics quietly make or break days in Scotland. Private guides will usually handle attraction bookings, know the correct ticket sites, time visits around crowds, coordinate directly with hotels or attractions. This matters at popular castles, busy viewpoints, time-slot attractions, and seasonal locations. Group tours usually can't adapt once the schedule is locked in. But all of this matters even more if you factor in something most itineraries ignore completely: how your body handles Scotland's roads. Outside major cities, Scottish roads are often narrow, winding, slower than expected. If you experience motion sickness, vertigo, headaches, or fatigue from long drives, I'm not gonna lie, group tours can be tough. Routes are fixed, stops are scheduled, and you're one of many. Even with good drivers, your body doesn't get much say. Private tours will allow extra stops, smoother routes where possible, pacing around how you actually feel. And it's not just motion sickness, because for a lot of travellers, the bigger issue is simply how much walking and standing a day actually involves. If you or someone in your group has mobility considerations, limited stamina, joint pain, or simply doesn't enjoy long walks, private tours are far more adaptable. Guides can drive closer to attractions, suggest accessibility-friendly alternatives, adjust walking distances, and pace the day realistically. Group tours are built for the average traveller, and not everyone fits that mould. Even if your body's fine, there's another kind of fatigue that sneaks up on people: how information is delivered throughout the day. On group tours, commentary is often constant. Much of it happens while driving, and there's very little mental downtime. On private tours, information is tailored, conversation is natural, silence is allowed. With the right guide, it feels less like a lecture and more like travelling with someone who knows the place deeply. But this difference doesn't just affect one day. It compounds, especially if you're touring for multiple days in a row. Over one long day, both can work. Over several days, structure really shows. Common reactions tend to be, from group tours, amazing but intense. From private tours, calm, immersive, satisfying. Both are valid, which brings us to the question everyone's already doing the maths on. Is the difference actually worth the price? In Scotland, group tours are typically between £60 and £100 per person per day. Private tours are usually somewhere between £650 to £750 per day. For solo travellers or couples, private tours are a big jump. But for groups of 5 to 7 people, that gap narrows quickly. At that point, the question becomes less about cost and more about how you want the experience to feel. And this is where real-world experiences matter more than brochures, because structure looks very different once you've lived it. Group tours can be very hit or miss, not because the scenery isn't incredible, but because the experience depends heavily on the guide, the pacing, and how well the structure suits you. I've personally done multiple group tours across Scotland. Some were fine, some were average, and one genuinely left me with regret. Inaccurate information, poor driving, and long days that felt exhausting rather than enjoyable. And that's actually very common. Most people don't leave thinking that was awful. They leave thinking, I'm glad I saw it, but I wouldn't do it that way again. That's the structure revealing itself. By now, you should have a pretty clear sense of which tour structure suits you. So the next question becomes simpler. Okay, who do you actually book with? Let's start with group tours because this is where expectations matter most. In Scotland, I've done a lot of group tours with different companies. And here's the honest truth. The scenery is always stunning, but the experience can be hit or miss, depending on the guide's style, how heavy the commentary is, and the tour routes. So instead of asking which company is best, the better question is which group tour itinerary suits you best. I'm not going to give you every option, just a few of my top picks. If you want a slower, gentler day, and you're an Outlander fan, or just someone who loves history, estates, and castles, one of the easiest paced tours I've done in Scotland, with longer stops, less time driving, and more time actually being at the sites, rather than spending it on buses. And you don't need to be an Outlander fan to enjoy it. It works just as well as a relaxed historic estates day trip. It's the kind of day you finish feeling calm and satisfied, not drained. But if you want classic Highland scenery in a single day, the Highlands, Lochs, Glens and Castles tour by Discover Scotland Tours is for you. Just know, there's lots of stops, shorter visits, and much more time on the coach. If you like ticking boxes, you'll enjoy it. If you prefer lingering, skip it. But if medieval history matters more than scenery, the Rosslyn Chapel, Stirling Castle and Dunfermline Abbey tour by Highland Experience Tours is for you. It gives you meaningful time at important sites without long, draining drives. But what about Edinburgh itself? My favourite Edinburgh-focused group walking tours are with Auld Reekie Tours. Their Terror tour is genuinely intense. Underground vaults, real historic accounts, no gimmicks. If that's too much, their Haunted Graveyard and Vaults tour is a great toned-down, family-friendly alternative. But what about multi-day tours for men? If you want calm, social and unhurried, the Islay and Whiskey Coast 4-day tour by Rabbies is one of the most relaxed multi-day tours in Scotland. It has later starts, minimal daily driving, long distillery visits, and it feels genuinely unhurried. If you want remote beauty and breathing room, the Outer Hebrides and Isle of Skye 6-day tour, also by Rabbies, works well, because Lewis and Harris get full, immersive days, not rushed highlights. If archaeology matters more than mountains, the Orkney and Far North tour by Highland Experience Tours gives Orkney a full dedicated day, making places like Skye feel immersive rather than rushed. If you want a balanced overview, the Isle of Skye and Highlands 5-day tour by Rabbies is more comprehensive than relaxed, but still manageable. But if you're a see-everything and a short-time traveller, the 3-day Isle of Skye and Highlands tour by the Hairy Coo is Scotland's greatest hits. It's impressive, and it's exhausting. Only choose it if you're prepared for very long days and lots of short photo stops. And if none of those sounded quite right, that's usually the moment people realise they're actually private tour travellers. Most private tour companies will build a custom itinerary around your interests, pace and comfort. I recommend inquiring with a few and see whose response feels most you. The private tour companies I, or people close to me, have genuinely enjoyed are Bespoke Caledonia Experience, for story-rich, historian-led days that go far beyond highlights. You can get 10% off via the QR code or link in the description. Heritage Guides, excellent for focused private walking tours in Edinburgh and historic sites. Use code TU10% for 10% off. Historic Orkney, ideal for Orkney-specific travellers wanting true local insight. These aren't best for everyone picks. They're examples of private tours done properly. If you choose the right type, even a simple tour can be incredible. If you don't, even the best company won't save the experience. There's no wrong choice, only a mismatched one. Once the structure fits how you travel, Scotland does the rest. So tell me in the comments, are you a see-everything traveller or a slow and immersive one? Now that you know whether a group tour or a private tour suits you, you're going to want to check out our Scotland Travel Guide playlist, covering where to stay, what's worth seeing, where to eat, and much more. Because if you don't, you can absolutely make the right tour choice and still get the rest of your Scotland trip completely wrong.